Shalom, and welcome to another episode of Ask the Elders, where we take all kinds of questions through our website and we answer them according to Scripture. So today's question is from Brother Donald. And Brother Donald asks, what do you think about people who say that they are set apart but still use profanity? Is it right or wrong for a person to cuss or use cuss words? Shalom. Very good question, Donald. And, it's important that we, look at Scripture, for all answers. So what we're going to do is, rephrase the question. Should someone who says they're set apart, should a believer use profanity? So let's go to Torah for our foundation, and we're going to use as our foundational verse Exodus chapter 20 verse 7, which reads, "Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuah thy Elohim in vain, for Yahuah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain." So this is a commandment. And, I see a lot of people use this and say that you shouldn't use the name of God in a cuss word. And that's taking his name in vain. But let's look at this, because this being our foundation for all that we do, it says, thou shalt not take. Thou shalt not take. Hebrew word for take is a verb, is nasa or nasa. It means to lift, to carry away, to show, or to even promote. So it says, thou shalt not promote, thou shalt not carry, thou shalt not lift, thou shalt not show the name of Yahuah, thy Elohim, in vain. Vain is a Hebrew word. The Hebrew word for vain, rather, is a noun, shav, or shav, and it means nothingness. It means false. It means emptiness. So it reads, thou shalt not promote the name of Yahuah thy Elohim to nothingness, or falsely, or emptiness. For Yahuah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. So those who wear the name of Yahuah, those who speak the name of Yahuah, those who say they belong to Yahuah, there's a certain way in which we ought to live. And when we live contrary to what he says, we are not his. We are not guiltless. So not only do we have to be careful about what we say, what we think, our actions, our non-actions, all should emulate Yahuah, Yahusha. So let's continue to look at this. Let's look at Proverbs 8:13, which says, the fear of Yahuah is to hate evil, pride, and arrogance, and the evil way, and froward mouth do I hate. Froward means perverse. A perverse mouth does Yahuah hate. So clearly we see in Proverbs, he's clearly saying he hates a perverse mouth. So having a perverse mouth fits under the commandment, not taking his name in vain. Let's continue to look at this. Let's look into the Brit Hadashah. Shaul here speaking to Timothy in 2 Timothy 2:16. He says, as he's giving him final instructions, but shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more wickedness. For it will lead people to more and more ungodliness, says the ESV. So profane and vain babblings will lead people into more ungodliness. So people are bent towards the words of those who say love him, those who say they represent him. They'll listen to our words. Are our words profane? Now, we know what profane language is according to the world. We know the jokes, the dirty jokes, the vulgar talk, the cuss words. We cannot emulate that and say that we are Yahuah. right? Shaul speaking again here in Colossians chapter 3. I'm going to read verses 8 through 10. And it says, but now, and he's speaking of now taking on this new life in Yahusha, he says, but now ye also put off all these. And what follows these? Anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication, which is obscene talk, out of your mouth. So put these things out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. So if we are taking on the image of him that created us, we no longer have anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication, which is obscene talk, right? James dedicates a full chapter to taming the tongue. And he says in James 3:10, he says, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessings and cursings. My brethren, these things ought not be so. So we see clearly that we have to change the way we talk. If it emulates the old man, it has to go. The new man does not have these types of things coming out of his mouth. Shaul, again, speaking in Ephesians, tells us to follow the example of Messiah. And he says in Ephesians 5:4, I'm reading out of the ESV, it says, let there be no filthiness, nor foolish talk, nor crude joking, which are out of place, but instead let there be thanksgiving. So we see clearly a pattern of things that we stop doing once we say that we are his. And, the final verse I'll read is Ephesians 4:9. Shaul speaking again, Paul says, Ephesians 4:29 says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to use of edifying, that it may minister grace, it may minister favor unto the hearers. So it's literally saying, by using proper language, by using good communication, by using set apart words, you extend the grace of Messiah, the grace of Yahuah given by the Father, the grace of Messiah given by the Father to them that hear, to them whose ears, enabling them to receive it. So as we speak to people, we are speaking a contradiction if we look no different. Messiah says that we are a city on a hill. And when he says that in Matthew, he's speaking to men that are fishers. He's speaking to Peter. He's speaking to the other disciples. He's telling them you are a city on a hill. That was a nautical language, because that city that they would see that was on the hill was a marker for them to know exactly where they were while they were out fishing. They could see that city, and it would put them on a straight path to get back to where they need to get to land. So the language that we use ought to be used in a set apart way to lead those to the straight path. If we're using foul language of the world, if we're using profanity, if we're cussing like a sailor, we are no different than the world. They see no clear path. They see no way to him. So the answer clearly, is it okay for a believer to use profanity? No, it is not. A believer should not be using profanity. That does not represent the Father, and that would violate that commandment, taking the name of Yahuwah in vain. So praise Yah. I hope that this answers your question. And if anyone has a question, you can go to our website, assemblyofyahuah.com, and ask the question. Until next time, Shalom.